morning and good evening in Portugal. I'm speaking from Los Angeles. It's Matt Coleman from Magnify World. We have a very special guest, Lewis Martins. He's all the way from Lisbon in Portugal, and we're going to be discussing what their group of companies do in the AR, VR business and emerging technology space, and also obviously around AR and VR and everything else, because that's what we do. Welcome, Lewis. I know we spoke last week, and you're at home, of course, like most people, but now you're back in the office. How is it going? With many people there?
Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me. Yeah, as I was sharing with you, this is kind of a zombie apocalypse kind of an experience, being here at the office. And today, actually, I have the company of my CEO, but during this week, since I'm having some works done at my place and I can't work there, I have to move here and just the trip down to the coffee machine to get my coffee, and while looking around and seeing all the workplaces empty, but the things from the people there, yeah, kind of throw me into this dystopic movie. But still, I know we're not there, and things are looking up, and hopefully anytime soon we will be back in shape, and all of the team, or at least half of the team, will be here joining me. But again, thank you, Matt, for having me here, and really looking forward to our conversation.
Great. So you're the head of marketing for the IT people, but you've also got 3 companies, and the other one's called Next Reality, which we'll get into. But you're also an author of a book that was released in 2017. It was written in Portuguese, and you were giving me a lesson on how big the Portuguese market is before we started recording here. And that was a pretty early days. Well, you want to say early days, you know, I've really been focused on this part of the industry for 5 years myself, even though the experts have been around for 20. If you talk to, you know, the people that have been in the industry for many years, right? So tell us a little bit about your book and the company that you're working for, and we can start getting into some case studies.
Sure. So yeah, I joined IT People Group in 2015. At that point, the company had been working with augmented reality for 5 years. So the company started working with augmented reality in 2010 on a research and development project where the company was aiming at creating an augmented reality content management system. So a CMS focused just on augmented reality content. And it was done in 2012, that it was ready. But of course, as all technology, and specifically, well, technology like this one, which was emergent and which had a lot of new iterations and changes, and with a lot of players bringing in something new every month to the market. Of course, the CMS kind of transformed itself into a set of APIs that right now are available, but allowed us between 2013 and 2015 to have like 30 something projects. And they were, well, pretty much all around. So we had projects for customers in Europe, customers also in the US, namely in that period, a company called Master Vision. And we also started working for South America. In 2015, then I entered the company, and that was when I started also working with working with this market and dealing with augmented reality as a tool that really could transform the way, not just how businesses and business processes worked, but also how, well, people literally saw society, saw their jobs, saw the resources and the content that they interact with. And I quickly saw also that there was, well, an ongoing revolution. So I do believe right now, and I do also believe that this is much more visible now, that augmented reality content will be the content of this decade where we are right now. So, and I do believe that all of the content and all this possibility of bringing the content from the screens towards our physical world is going to transform the way that we're interacting. So that was.
Can I just
Yeah,
interrupt you for a second? Just on
sure.
that point, it's an important one in the market research. And if you're an analyst in this industry, you know, 4.5, 5 years ago, they were predicting the AR VR business to be about possibly a $300 billion market. Possibly other ones were 150 billion. This was like last year I'm talking about, right? It's finished. 2 years ago even. Tim Merrill, an analyst from San Francisco, has just put out a new report on investment and forecasting. And it's around 80 billion. It's been revised down to now in the next few years, right? What are your thoughts on that, and where do you see the strengths and weaknesses in the market, and what sectors? Because you guys are in the enterprise area, but you're also doing consumer as well, and even blockchain. You know, can you tell us a little bit about what your findings are, since you're an author and you wrote the book in 2017? That's where I'm going, and where do you see that today and in the future?
Yeah, well, it was. Well, I've started working. So my professional, so I started working professionally in the 20th century. So in 1999, and around that time, we also had a lot of studies that showed us how mobile internet was going to be the thing, and how mobile commerce was going to take take business by storm in 2 years. And actually it only happened a bit later. So this to say that since then I kind of became like, I wouldn't say immune, but I tend to receive those studies in a way that, I kind of filter out, let's say, the positivity, and try to, try and leverage the information in there, and try to operate it the best way I can. But of course, if we see, for instance, the studies in 2016 and 2017 regarding how VR and AR was going to evolve, by now we should all have like VR glasses. We should all should be walking on the streets with several pairs. So I think it all comes down to being. We were talking a bit about that. The technology is ready. So right now we are technologically available and technologically ready to provide that kind of service to people, and we will be even more with 5G rolling out. But the issue is that the value, the usage that people find in digital content is not yet that translated into augmented reality features. So for instance, one of the main things that I find now, going into just jumping into the features, the augmented reality features. One of the things that sometimes on some talks I approach is that, for instance, right now you have the ability to search for digital content on a browser. So, and that was pretty much what made the web a place that we can use.
Yeah.
And that's a very important part, because who remembers the web before search engines? I had that experience, and we had like little books with the URLs that were the first kinds of directories.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that.
And then you had like Lycus and cool things like Alta Vista, and then only after Google came. So and it really made a huge impact in the sense that then suddenly we had this opportunity to effectively and in a very productive way use the internet in order to get the kind of content that we needed. Now, fast forward 10 years and we're talking about, again, content, augmented reality content. How can we search the content around us? So right now there is not a tool available to allow us to search the content around us. So I do not know if right now where I'm standing, if there are any augmented reality experiences around me. Maybe there are, I don't know. And there is no, the issue is that there is no way right now for us to find if...
You're right. And we're not just talking about Pokemon here, you know, we're talking about, you know, cafe information or directions, or it could be heart pulse, or it could be your email, or it could be anything, right? We're talking
tourism
about
guides.
Yeah, anything. Look,
yeah, exactly.
And that leads us into, I know we were going to talk about smart glasses as well. And in fact, that's how we connected on LinkedIn, I think, from memory. And, you know, it's a changing market, and everyone wishes that smart glasses we hear yesterday in regards to penetration and content. But what do you see as the, you know, the top products out now or coming soon outside of Apple and experiences? And I know we don't have one yet either, so it's a bit hard to comment other than what we've read, but because they keep it under wraps. But, you know, what are your comments around the smart glass industry and the opportunity?
Yeah, so then I would like to separate consumer from business.
Yep.
Because right now you already have an ongoing market for business usage, business to business usage of smart glasses. Actually, it's one of our main markets at Next Reality. And pretty much, I dare to say that more than 50% of our augmented reality - mixed reality projects that we develop are focused on hands-free use cases, and mainly for the industrial area or industrial sector. Right. So we're talking about...
Give us one example. Yeah.
Sure. So, for instance, we developed for South America, so that there's this energy company called Enel. So they are Italian, and they are one of the major energy providers in Peru. And they have several power plants. One of them is in the Andes, 4,000 meters above the sea level, and 6 hours away from Lima, with the kind of roads that you can just imagine, right, to get there. So really, well, let's call them challenging roads. Yeah. And the issue is that getting there is not that easy. You cannot go, well, you cannot accelerate on those roads. They are kind of, well, dangerous. And when you get there, it's 4,000 meters above sea level. So pretty much you have the air pressure in your ears, and that of course affects you. And of course you do not have the necessary infrastructure for you to be connected every day to, well, all the other services through the internet, because, well, internet connections there are not that available. The only one that you can get is pretty much coming from satellite. So what we created was then, well, a project that rolled out inside that power plant that allowed for this company to, whenever they needed, to connect to the internet and get in remote support from experts that were not on location. Some of them were in the country, some of them were international, that allowed them to do some maintenance procedures, and also, well, they were also prepared to, well, solve problems or solve issues that might arise and intervene to quickly, well...
And was that mixed reality? in
Yeah,
regards to
so
what headset were you using there?
HoloLens, Microsoft
HoloLens,
HoloLens in the
right?
first version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then the cool thing is that while this allowed for this power plant to get the support from a team that was not available, most of the team wasn't even available in the country. So getting them in to the power plant and allowing them to see the problem and then to provide their know-how in order to solve the issue was something that was going to not just cost money, but also take a long while to happen. The cool thing is that with this solution, they also have the opportunity to record the session. So whenever they need, they can just go in and, pretty much review it for training purposes or even use it as evidence in their quality management software. So overall, it's a win-win-win implementation that allowed them to accelerate different levels in their process. And that's why it's so interesting for these companies to start implementing, because the impact on the bottom line is very, very visible and very quick to achieve. So right now we already have in South America, so 3 customers that we have ongoing projects with, and in Europe we're working with 5 entities, 5 organizations, just with these industrial area use cases.
Right, and they're all with the HoloLens, the first version or the second version?
Not all with HoloLens, both 2 and 1. So some of them are also using Vuzix technologies. So we're talking about Vuzix itself or RealWear. And besides those, so for augmented reality and assisted reality scenarios, those are the ones that are live. And
what about Magic Leap? Have you tried the Magic Leap at all? Or?
We did. This is the time probably when I tell you that we are Microsoft Gold partners. So so we kind of are more keen on using Microsoft technology, but still the issue is that I used Magic Leap, and as a technology, I think that, of course, there are several benefits, especially with the ergonomy of the device itself. I still think that software-wise, there is still a path for them to go, and there is still a big distance between them and what right now the mixed reality framework is and the HoloLens products are, in the sense that only now they are doing the pivoting to business, and the push for these new products needs to happen, but that didn't happen yet. And actually, this was something that I didn't understand from the very beginning, because they were so secretive. They were very much focused on keeping the hype, and they didn't open that much to the community, and that didn't allow for, I guess, so many people to start thinking and tinkering and developing for it. And at the end of the day, I think that is the key benefit. It's not just the device itself, it's the actual, the programs that we have in there and the value that they can provide. So right now, no, we haven't used Magic Leap, but I'm really looking forward for, to test them when they have those business to business options, and alongside with them, Nreal, AM, Oppo. There are several ones that I would like. Lenovo.
Yeah, it's Magic Leap's certainly a comfortable headset for me. I mean, I spent probably, when I first put it on, probably 2.5 hours of gameplay and looking around menus and things, because that's just what I do. But coming back to your gold partnership status with Microsoft, that might be interesting for viewers to know about. how do you get to that status? I know you've got like 150 employees and 3 companies there, but is there a certain growth and revenue you need to hit? Or, I mean, what sort of advantages do they offer a partner like yourself to join that program?
Yeah, so for you to achieve the gold partnership, from what I remember, it has to do with the level of certification, so of the certified technicians that you have. So you need to have several developers in several areas. We are gold partners on the mobile area, and in that sense, we had to have a number at least of 5 certified developers in those areas, or in that area of expertise. Besides that, we also need to have a threshold of projects using this Microsoft technologies. But overall, what we feel is that the kind of support and the kind of essentially the offer itself that Microsoft brings with the HoloLens, it's it's very sturdy. So and it's very reliable, and in that sense, for the use cases where we can actually leverage that technology, it really it's a safe bet, and it really makes sense. And that was pretty much why we started pushing it forward. What we feel right now is that with also the HoloLens 2, one of the major differences between them and Magic Leap that you just referred, which was the ergonomy, the way that it didn't feel so well. Magic Leap didn't feel so heavy
That's
as
right. Yeah.
HoloLens 1
Yeah.
did, and that was solved. And when you go and see the weight, it's pretty much the same. So it's like 200 grams less, but they just distributed it in a better way. So I think that overall with this, and with again Unreal doing like a lot of partnerships. They did, for instance, a partnership 6 months ago with Deutsche Telekom. They already had another one with South Korea Telecom. So I'm guessing, just guessing, that you will start hearing the same from Microsoft, from Magic Leap. So I think that this push with these telcos, and also 5G coming out, will probably allow us to see many more smart glasses around us, and probably also on the stores.
Yeah. What do you did you have much impact through the Snapchat glasses? I mean, did you try one of those out at all? Or I
I
assume you may
did.
or may not have, but I don't know. But yeah.
I did. It was fun, but again,
Yeah.
it's. I think it's again. I don't think that consumer-wise we're there. We will be, but
Yeah.
we're not yet there, because right now there aren't so many reasons, let's call it like that, for us to be there, in the sense that the value that you have as a consumer to use your smart glasses isn't in there, in the sense that you don't have so many augmented reality apps that are designed specifically for hands-free usage, consumer-based
Yeah.
hands-free usage. So I think that it's hard, and I do. That's why I feel that again, you having like telcos betting a lot on showcasing VR and AR as showcasing VR and AR use cases, because they're very visible, because some of them are very visual, and because they are interesting to present the
Yeah.
power of the infrastructure. I guess that will probably bring some of these use cases and some of these features to be will bring, or will make these new, let's say, these new consumer oriented services to be developed. And I do believe that in like maybe the next 2 years, you will start seeing the services that we were talking a while ago, like for instance, having discovery services that will allow you to see where you have the stuff. And that's why I'm so bullish. When I talk about smart glasses, I also like to talk about 5G, and I also like to talk about web, in the sense
Yes.
that I think that it's all intertwined. I don't, right now, all of the content is inside apps, all of the experiences, augmented reality experiences.
Yeah.
So we need, and as they are encapsulated there, we are not available to index them. So we need to be able to do that in order for us to then automatically have some kind of a search engine or search tool for us then to find the augmented reality experiences. And
Yeah.
when that happens, that's when I think that the augmented reality promise will be fulfilled, in the sense that by overlaying the digital content on top of the physical
Yeah.
reality, one of the, what really drives me, and what I think is the most interesting characteristic of augmented reality, is that it changes the meaning of places. It changes the meaning of the physical places, of the physical objects, just by overlaying the digital content on top of it. So for instance, if you have like an empty space, but you overlay there, for instance, someone playing guitar, then you're listening to a concert, and suddenly it's a stage. So it's not an empty space anymore.
Yeah.
So that power, I think, is something that can only be leveraged by having tools that can then deliver this content when it's needed, or when I want it to be showcased. And that's something that we still don't have.
Now, listen, what about this? Will Apple stop selling iPhones? And what date will that be? Now, a reason I ask that is because you know why I'm asking, but for the listeners here, if their smart glass is that good, and you know they were not, they're late to the consumer market, but they've obviously been researching this under a secretive production arrangement they have internally, because we only find out at the last minute with Apple. That's their marketing, right, ploy to the world. But imagine this. So this is what I know. You will have a necklace, right, which will be connected with IoT capability to your smart glasses. Why then do you need your phone? And am
Well,
I just hypothesizing here, or am I talking about some futuristic space program? But what are your thoughts, you know, with mobile
yeah,
devices? You know, will they go away in 5 years? You know,
you know,
it's hard to imagine.
yeah,
I'm putting it out there
I,
though.
yeah, well, you know, I think one of the issues, so separating the questions, just now throwing ourselves a bit into the future,
Yeah.
whenever I start talking a bit about that with some of my colleagues, when we start like going out and flying into the future, one of the things that we feel is that there's going to be so many new technologies coming in. It's like, and technologies that people are not going to be that right now are not going, they are not aware. And some of the technologies that are going to appear, people will not know what they are.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, like, again, we're talking now about augmented reality, but we'll have like blockchain, we'll have about several layers of artificial intelligence and machine learning and self-driving cars, and so many stuffs, and so many at so many levels, that and so many new products coming into the stores, that I do feel that people will feel the need to manage the kind of let's say technology news, and new technologies that are coming into their lives. So
Yes.
we will still have, I think that we will probably have a lot to manage, and a lot of people that will probably not be let's say that interested, I wouldn't say interested, they will not like that amount of technology that will add up to their unsafetyness, and their feeling of they won't feel safe with it. And overall, I think that probably they will start and fight it, because that kind of amount of technology, which is also combinatory, so you'll start combining like augmented reality with IoT, with 5G, with all of that. So this is say that it's really, really uncertain, and
This is what
probably
Tom Cruise was doing back in the day, right, on Minority Report.
exactly that. And we can only explore, and we can only try and see, but overall we can also try and anticipate the problems that technology application can actually have also on our life. And that was, as you said, what also Tom Cruise was doing, and still does at a level, with his sci-fi movies. So and that's also very, very important. And overall, what I feel is exactly that. So we also need to start thinking about overall, and in spite of the fact that we cannot control what the future is going to bring us, but we need to start talking a bit about, okay, so I'm going to use glasses, so that's going to be cool, but at the same time, that's going to be like wearing 2 cameras 24/7 or wherever I go. So that's an issue, a privacy issue, that's a safety issue, that's a security issue, that's an ethics issue. Well, we need to start talking about all of this, and thankfully that there are a lot of forums on the social media and also on the web where this is starting to be discussed. Getting back to your first question, so regarding what the glasses are going to be, so I don't know. Well, no one does, right? But still, what I do know. Well, but the cool thing is that you have one thing is for sure. Apple does like those processes that are core to specific devices. Like, for instance, why do people prefer to buy Macs instead of PCs?
Yeah.
Well, because the Mac, it performs.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's not like, oh, but it could do this, and surely you had those conversations like, yeah, if only my Mac could do this and this and this and this. Sure, it could, but it doesn't. The cool thing is that still you prefer it because it really performs, and that's I think also one of the things that will happen with the glass. So what I do feel is that the first version of the glass will not be like, wow. Probably, I'm not really sure if it's even going to be like augmented reality. From the reports I saw, it's probably going to be assisted reality, so something more the likes of North that just got bought by Google. But that's fine. But that's fine because again, if it can provide value just by overlaying the information regarding where I am, for instance, or by providing services that allow me, for instance, to get remote assistance from,
add
let's
value,
say,
right? It's all about adding value to the experience ultimately.
Exactly. So for instance, if I can use my glasses, let's say that I get into an accident. Now let's just wonder about the possibilities of augmented reality services. So I have a smart glass, just had an accident with my car. And now I need to get in touch with my lawyer. Okay, I can. Or I can just, go to the Apple lawyer on my glass, and the Apple lawyer can take care of it, right?
You can see it. And smart telemedicine, all that sort of stuff.
And but, suddenly, you have all the services in there.
I know we're just about to wrap up, but COVID, fortunately or unfortunately, has to spur innovation right now in every single industry. That probably is the only positive thing that's going to come out of this whole pandemic, right? You know, I hope, I'm not sure of the stats in your country, but you know, California isn't doing that great. New York's worse, and Melbourne, you know, is closed up. Just a few thoughts, but is Lisbon doing okay at the moment, or what's the feeling in your country?
Well, I think overall it's something that no one can say that it's off the hook. So in Portugal, Lisbon is hit the most, and we're out of confinement, but still we are living with a lot of restraints. And we of course saw a lot of our civil liberties and pretty much also of our circulation hindered. Still, as you said, a lot of innovation, and right now people became more available to new approaches, and that sparked curiosity and interest also in augmented reality and virtual reality, which is good.
Yeah.
Still, I see that management, specifically top management, is still very they are not very open into developing and pushing forward the envelope, or the innovation envelope, because again, it relies on technology. And one of the things that I feel that the core management right now and top management of the companies, specifically large corporates, are not yet aware, and I feel that they need to, is that technology is pretty much right now, I dare to say, one of the, at least continuously, it's the biggest driving force for business in the world. And again, that's one of the reasons why business owners and business managers also need to be very much aware of what's around them regarding that. And even more guys like me that work on marketing, because technology is affecting every day what products are, what services are. So it's very, very important, for us to know.
I was just going to say, my tip of the day for Magic Leap is to put all efforts into education. That's my tip of the day, because that is probably the most disrupted industry sector that needs the most help, because they're the most unprepared. And I think we're going to see tier 3 universities fold, and the people on the waiting lists from tier 3 are going to go to tier 1. And a lot of these colleges, private as well, have no online communication capabilities. So I think that's the tip of the day. Hey, just to end up on here, I'd like you just to give your company a shout out and a URL where they can find you as well, and yourself on LinkedIn.
Perfect. You can find us at nextreality.com. You can also find us at YouTube. So you can just go on YouTube and search for IT People TV. And you can also find us on Twitter and LinkedIn. So if you're looking forward, or if you're looking for augmented reality development done for your real estate, retail, tourism, or industrial area project, namely with your garden variety of AR Core, AR Kit, or a mixed reality mixed reality features, you are more than welcome to contact. We are a team that is based out of Lisbon, but we are more than used to working in international projects. So we can cope with other time zones, not a problem.
Fantastic. Well, look, thanks for the really interesting chat today about all these new emerging technologies in the AR, VR space, and XR and mixed reality and every other buzzword there is. Lewis Martins, thank you very much for your time, and stay safe. and I will talk to you soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much.